So, guys, it's no secret that the public school system is pretty terrible when it comes to actually teaching their kids. And then, this whole movement where apparently some freaking politicians say that school choice is bad, is bad for certain students because school choice because if you transfer your kid to this certain private school, they're not gonna teach you the right things when it comes to actually trying to become a socially active smart person. Which is why there are a lot of politicians out there that advocate against school choice when the main demographic for school choice a lot of black families want, especially when it comes to like making sure they children have a better education, they have a better means to society, they know the full fledged better programs, a better system, systems that the public schools or basically government funded schools do not have or will not contribute to actually give their kids a better education. How to make them better readers, how to make them better writers, how to make them better test scores. We all know this for a fact. The public school system is trash. Okay? Because there was a lot of things that I learned in public schools, but there's also a bunch of other things that I didn't learn. That I had to literally research myself when it comes to Black history, slavery, etc., that public schools didn't teach me. There's a lot of things there that I had to teach myself. So the reason I'm saying this is because homeschooling has increased tremendously throughout the past 6 months, and I ain't talking about because the pandemic either. I'm talking about because a lot of families not realize, especially black families, they realize how poor the school system is and how the school system is failing black children. Black children are not reading at a better rate than white kids. They're not writing at a better rate than white kids. Basically the whole school system is basically failing a lot of black kids and to make them smarter kids. So which is why some of these politicians are highly against these parents taking their kids to better schools, which is why they advocate against school choice, because the public school system will be losing money, and politicians don't want that because the school board is in bed with the government. So the reason I'm saying this is because of this little article right here from The Voice that is labeled "The Rise of Homeschooling in the Black Community." So let's go ahead and go on with this article. More black parents are opting to homeschool their children to protect them from systemic racism, according to education experts. Leading black tutors say that they have seen an increase in demand over the last 18 months, with many parents turning to online services because their children are at risk of exclusion. Ziggy Moore, 37, is the founder and managing director of More Education, which is a black-owned online tuition and supplementary school, which was established over 5 years ago. Speaking to The Voice, he said there are two types of parents going down the house schooling route. They are either proactive or reactive. The proactive parents are the ones who have made the conscious decision to home educate and know the education system can fulfill the needs of their black children. So they are actively doing something about it. Unfortunately, I am seeing too many reactive parents who are choosing homeschooling because something has gone wrong in mainstream education settings, and they are not prepared, and there is no long-term plan. The father of two from Tottenham says many of the homeschool children he knows are thriving, but he would like to see the reactive parents have a bit more structure and planning so that children can get the best experience possible. The secondary school teacher has nearly 15 years experience. He believes the education system was never designed to cater for black children, and that is why so many are failing at school. He said, "Our plan as a Caribbean and African community was never to stay here. Most of our elders came with a 5-year plan, and the system never thought we would settle here, and that is part of the problem." For many black parents, homeschooling has been the only viable option because they believe the mainstream education system is broken and destroys black children, which is true. Because if you actually look at states like Chicago and California, their school system is very bad because a lot of a lot of black children out there do not read past a third grade level. And when they go out throughout middle school and high school, they are completely misinformed and miseducated on a bunch of things. So that was one article from the Voice. Let me show you this other article from NBC News that's labeled "Why More Black Families Are Choosing to Homeschool Their Children This Fall." As school begins reopening across the country, in Chicago, Angela Valentine says her 12-year-old son, Dorian, would not be returning. Instead, he will be homeschooled. Quote, "I just began to see some telltale signs that things were working to our advantage," she said, "and started to see some disparities, some inequities. Some of the disparities involve her son's academics." Valentine said that as Dorian's grades slipped last year, before the pandemic closed classrooms, his school failed to give him adequate support and solutions for subjects in which he was weak. Her son was one of only a few black boys in his class, and he said his social interactions changed over time. Other students suddenly stopped playing with him. He told her that he spends recess on the swings by himself. Quote, we later found out that he was called the N-word," Valentine said. Bonetta Bradley, an education advocate, says she has heard similar stories from parents in her hometown, Detroit. When Detroit public schools shut down in the early ages of the pandemic, she noticed black students being left behind and their parents being ignored by school administrators. Students, she said, did not have adequate resources like laptops and Wi-Fi, while students in affluent neighborhoods already had needed resources. Superintendent Nikolai Vitti said last year that despite an effort to distribute 50,000 laptops and free internet services to students, the district experienced chronic absentees last fall. About 5% of district students had broken laptops or did not have Wi-Fi connectivity at home. That led to chronic absentees. About 30% of students did not attend online classes. Quote, "Families were crying out for help," she said. "All parents kept getting was, oh, this is a pandemic and be gracious and give us time. Not that it was perfect for anybody. It was a whole pandemic, but families just started tapping out. They were like, if you won't help me, I'll do it myself." And they did just that. Bradley became the point of contact for black parents interested in homeschooling. She received a $25,000 education grant from Velva, which funds people and programs that are meeting students and families' educational needs. She then launched Engage Detroit, a homeschool co-op that assists black parents with educational sources. So, guys, this is why a lot of parents are moving away from public schools and starting to do more homeschooling themselves because, one, they are basically being outcasts, and two, the schools are not actually doing better when it comes to teaching their kids, which I don't blame them. Some of these schools are pretty trash, especially public schools, when there's tons of fighting, the textbooks are trash, they ain't got enough desks for kids. Some of the principals don't know how to freaking teach, and a lot of teachers now, and a lot of teachers are going more woke than actually paying attention to what they are teaching their kids. Nationwide, black parents are reporting their challenging experiences with their kids in public, private, and charter schools, prompting many to reconsider their educational options. Data shows that facing racism at school, bias from some teachers, and curriculums that parents deem inadequate. More black families than ever are choosing to homeschool their children. After a year of virtual hybrid learning and the unknowns of a new school year during the pandemic, most parents see that the route as the best option. So, Ray's study revealed a significant difference in academic achievement among black homeschool students. In 2015, 140 black homeschooling families were given standardized tests. The tests were compared to those of more than 1,200 black public school students, which showed that black homeschoolers score higher in reading, language, and math. The homeschooler score were also equal to or higher than white public school students' scores on average. So, guys, just this little study alone, where black homeschool kids score more than white public school students, which basically shows that the school system was against some black students, some black kids in general, getting a better education, which is a means saying that these schools are against, actually educating black kids, which is why a lot more black kids are dropping out of schools, because the system is highly against black children becoming better readers, writers, and academic people. So they are basically repeating this whole cycle that black kids cannot get a better education because they're either slow, they don't want to learn, or they are being taught that education is bad for you. No, it's basically that a lot of black kids want to learn. It's just that the teachers and the school system itself is failing these kids. So let's keep on going with this article. Ray says he was not surprised. When you put your child in an institution, the life of the child and the life of the family start to revolve around the institution rather than the education of the child, he said. Now, as schools open and students return to school, National Black Home Educators, a nonprofit organization, saying it is preparing to meet the increasing needs of parents and students interested in homeschooling. CEO Joyce Burks said the interest in the organization was overwhelming. She said traffic on the organization's website has grown exponentially in recent years, and it works with more than 700 families directly, compared to just 30 when it began in 2000. The organization offers tools and resources to help parents navigate homeschooling, while affirming students by providing a Black Force curriculum. Quote, "We are bringing a Black experience," Burke said. "Black history, literature, and culture should have never been left out," she said, adding, "It should have never been invisible, but an older gentleman told me a long time ago," he said. "Joyce, the story is going to be told according to the people who write the story. And Black Americans, we are writing the story. So this is the spirit of how we write our curriculum for families, and it's a beautiful thing." This is why a lot more black families are moving towards homeschooling, or educating their children on their own, because the system is not actually teaching the full-blown history, math, reading, and guys, the freaking establishment is against this. They don't actually want some black kids out there to be educated. They want them to stay misinformed and stupid, misguided and stupid. They want to keep on repeating this cycle that the private schools are failing black kids, so they want to keep them in public schools, even though on paper the stats show that black kids in public schools are doing way more worse. And it comes out that homeschooling black kids is the much better option, because the parents know what their kids are being taught. So yeah, guys, apparently homeschooling is the better option for some black children out there, because the public schools are purposely failing some black children, some black kids out here. When some kids are being homeschooled, they learn more and they have the technology, they have the better teachers. Some of these public school teachers cannot teach. They go on more work. The freaking this is how it should be right here. This should be one of the main talking points for politics, education, and not just your child cannot go to this school because he doesn't live in the same district, which is something that a lot of black families do not want. They want school choice, but some of these politicians are not getting into their head. They say, no, you gotta go to the school that's in your district instead of this private school, and that's not working out for some black families. So they take them out of these schools, and they think, yo, if y'all ain't gonna help my kid, I'm gonna do it myself. And me, I ain't got a problem with that. But guys, I just want an opinion. You guys let me know what y'all think about it in the comment section below. You guys like I'm saying, like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I will see y'all next one. Peace.